welcome back. I'm so glad you could join me today. Today, we're going to be doing a nice little interesting painting. I'm not going to say simple for the reason that I don't know what I'm painting today, and I just want to put that exclaimer out. Now, let me run the colors across the screen that you'll need to paint along with me. The same order I have them with my titanium white all the way to my bright red. While they're doing that, I have a pre-stretched double prime canvas and I added a coat of white gesso, not two coats basically. Allowed the white gesso to dry. It's completely dry, has no medium, has no nothing. The medium, I have it to the side. It's all there, so you can work with it. I say let's get started with today's painting. So I'm going to pull out some phthalo blue onto my palette. Phthalo blue is a strong color, so you gotta be careful with it. And I have a little bit of oil, a little bit of oil paint medium off to the side, and I'll just tap in the toned down paint. It's just paint with medium onto my brush, both sides. Let's come up here. This, huh? Now, like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Either way, you guys will be able to see a sunset pretty soon. I'm gonna do a sunset painting. Make sure you load both sides of your brush. It's really, really important you do. You need those little gaps. Those gaps of paint will make it look the sky more interesting. If not, the sky will look flat and it won't come out to the appearance you might want it. So again, loading my brush again. You gotta tap both sides of the brush. And just so slightly. And you could help blend everything together just by going back and forth. But leave those little spaces. Those spaces will make your sky come together. Although maybe it's not all the natural, who cares as long as you like it. As long, I'm looking up because there's a big old spider and it's coming down for some reason. It almost looks like a tarantula. So I'm keeping my eye on it, hoping it doesn't come to me. I just don't like those big old spiders. I don't mind the tiny ones, but when it's big, don't have it near me. Now, I have a 1-inch brush right here, and I'm gonna pull it through some titanium white. Just pulling my brush one direction, and let's come up here and just go in circles. Now, you can't really see it because it picks up paint, but that's like our base coat. So now, I haven't done this in a while. I'll grab a fan brush and I'll load it through that titanium white paint. Just loading up my brush and just going in circles. The first time I put it, it's like a rough outline of where I want my cloud to be. But you could also change it if you like. So just going in circles. Now I'm gonna put this brush to the side. And with the 1 inch, it doesn't matter. You can come, do circles on the base, lift it up lightly, and go across. And that's simple. You have a cloud up in the sky. Very nice effect. Now, let me just remove that thin down paint. We're gonna need some firm paint, very firm paint. Some phthalo blue, alizarin crimson. Remember, the phthalo blue is way stronger than the crimson, so you gotta be careful with it. Maybe even a little cadmium yellow. I just want this nice dark color. Just a nice dark color that I'm looking for. Don't really care if it's to the red, blue, or whatever side. I just want a dark color. And just make sure when you're doing mountains, foothills, and all that, you mix up your paint pretty good. And you lay it flat out. As tough as you can get with it on your palette. Let me see if you can see that. As tough as you can get on here. And you're just gonna cut a row right across. You'll get that little roll of paint on the edge of the knife. Okay, let's come up here. Remember, there's no medium, there's no nothing. Let's pop in a good old mountain. I haven't done that in a while. And when you're doing mountains, you want to scrape out as much paint as you possibly can. These don't require much paint. It's like the clouds again. It's just your outline. So I'm just scratching it in. Just some tiny scratch-ins. Okay? Just make everything come together. But you gotta scrape off most of that underpaint. Okay. I'm gonna put this dark paint right to the side. Let me clean off my knife. Now, with the brush I used to paint in the sky, start at the top, and since there's no medium, it's harder to move the paint, but just try your best to move it. Sometimes since there's oil under it, or the paint isn't as firm as you expect it to be, it'll move somewhat. And you just need it to move somewhat. You don't really need that whole bunch. Because if not, all that paint stays in one place and you don't want it to. So just like so. Now, same, oh, clean palette knife, no paint. I just spray paint these palette knives. And I'm gonna go into some titanium white. Get tough with that paint. Lay it out as flat as you can get it. And roll a little paint roll on the edge of the knife. As you can see, a little roll of paint on the edge of the knife. Let's come up here and just start thinking of where the highlights come in. Just like so. You could also make the light coming from this way so the highlights would be the opposite direction. It's up to you, but normally it's easier for right-handed people for the light to be coming this way. But again, it's your painting. You do what you think needs to go on it. Cut a roll of paint. And when you're painting, you can't be shy with using paint. That's what paint is for. So you can use it. You're gonna be saving it. Might as well just sell it. You know what? I think we can pull this one back and just mess around with all this. We got so many stuff going on. Okay, now I'm gonna add a little bit of that gray color. Gray color. Base color. Add some white. And add a touch of phthalo blue. Pull it out flat. Cut that roll of paint. And come up here. Oh, that's nice. I like that dark blue color. Okay. And each little mountain peak needs its own little shadow. Again, if you guys are interested in buying a painting of mine, send me a message through Instagram. My handle should pop up somewhere around here, somewhere around the screen, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible, and we can work out a deal. I try not to sell them too expensive. Okay, so now let me just wipe off the 2 inch. I can tap the base, just the base that I want to tap. Lift up a bit, doesn't have to be much. And I'm gonna go into that same dark color, and I'm gonna come here and just tap. Now, I don't want to get rid of all that mist we worked in. I want to leave some of that. But in your painting, it's up to you. So I'm just tapping. I'm going to pull up the paint just to make it look like there's so many trees in the background. Now, I'm going to tap in a little yellow just to make it green this time. And just tap it. And notice how I leave some of that misty area. All I'm here for doing these videos is to teach you guys how to paint something. What you guys paint, that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what you have to paint, what you can and can't paint. That's all up to you. Let your imagination work. Let it loose. Now, let's look up here. What do we got in here? Um, okay. I think what we can do is uh okay. I got a somewhat of an idea. I'm gonna get some of that dark color, some medium into my brush, and just scrub it on here. Okay? You don't want too much medium. Depends. The amount of medium that you're supposed to use depends on how much paint you have. Because if you use too much medium, your paint will become like a wash. And it will lose its thickness and it won't be the same. Okay? Just tap it in. Something light. All I need is almost like a base color. And I'm gonna go with the same dirty brush into some cadmium yellow. Load your brush both ways. It's really important you do that. And maybe it goes all the way over there. Let's go ahead. Let's make it a bit to the greenish. I want to change it up a bit. I do that by adding a little bit of blue. Just like so. Just by tapping, you create all those layers. Don't put everything at random. Actually, takes a little bit of time to look at it and think where things belong in your painting. Sometimes when you're doing commissioned artwork, when you're doing commissioned work, it's not so much of what you want to paint, it's what the customer wants. So, commission work, you could charge more since it's whatever they want, but it's more limitations on the artist, I believe. And at times, yeah, for a challenge or whatever, it's nice, but I don't think to constantly be doing it. Now, I just put a little bit of orange in there, just sneaking it in. Sneaking in a little orange. The orange I mix up just cadmium yellow and bright red. The more red you put, the more orange, and if you put too much red, it'll be more reddish. Alright, I want it to come back to that yellowish color. Just like that, something like so. Now, we're at the 20-minute mark. Let's go ahead, let's put in a big old cabin. How does that sound? Just scratch it in. Now, you just have to mix up some green by mixing up yellow and blue, and then you mix that green up with some red, and you'll get your brown color that you need. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. Give me 1 second. The reason why I don't have, let's say, Van Dyke Brown and Dark Sienna is because if I were to have those colors out, I would depend on just pulling out that color, which is quicker, but I don't learn how to mix colors properly. What colors will give me what. So this is why, in a way, I challenge myself on how to um, get some tones right. Some brown that I mixed up and just block it in. And I don't really care how neat it looks. Right now, I just care about blocking in color. Now, wipe off my 2-inch brush. Touch, pull. That's all you gotta do. Touch and pull. Okay. Now, you're still mixing up or trying to even mix up a whole different color. You can just add white to your brown. And that'll give you your highlight. Is that light enough? No. We need something lighter. How about this? Yeah, that could work. And just cut across, getting that little roll and just working with it. Remember, it's no pressure, just like your mountains. Now, you can you can scratch out your cabin. Go back, fix the grassy area. Maybe now it's green. You see, but with changing all the colors, it'll give you a nice little mood. If it's all one same color, you would assume it's like maybe summer. But with different colors, it catches the person's attention. Now, what I'm going to do that base color that I use, just marble it. You can do this with all the free time you guys have. I got about 5 minutes. I try to keep the videos under a 30-minute mark. Mixing up some dark color again. I'm gonna put in a door. Okay. And just some indications of some old boards in there. Now, I'm gonna fix up the grass again a bit. Just a bit. Again, it's up to your liking. Now, I'm gonna go into some of that dark color. Thin it out with a medium. Just scrubbing it. It came out like a brown color now. I'm gonna change it up a bit. There we go. That's more of a dark green color. But I think that gradient of green and brown will help us. We just learn how to work with things. Got too brown again. There we go. A little bit of medium on that. I basically used the 2-inch brush for the whole painting. 2-inch and the fan brush to emphasize. Okay, I'm gonna put that brush to the side and I'm gonna use a different brush this time. Same a 2-inch brush, but clean new one instead of using that same old one. Load up your brush, and you gotta really load up on your brush. If you don't load up, you're not gonna get much. Just by tapping. Just tap it in. I'm gonna start putting the chapters in the videos again, since I think is a big reason why I'm losing people from coming again. People aren't coming back, but people would come when there was chapters in the videos. So I think that plays a big old role. So I'm gonna start doing that again, even though it's quite the work, but it's worth it. We're almost at 100 subscribers. Might not be much, but I thank for everyone who subscribes, who checks out my channel and follows me and all that stuff. I really appreciate it. Without you, I'd probably be just relaxing, doing nothing. Who knows if I would have still been doing art. Okay, we went by the 30-minute mark. Uh, to be exact, I think it was 30 minutes and I can't find it anymore. But I'm not gonna do something behind your guys' back and just paint something without you guys knowing. So I'm gonna show you guys. Lizard crimson, phthalo blue, a bit more crimson, and some cadmium yellow. Load up that brush. Let's come up here. There's a big old tree there. There is now. You could paint evergreens with a fan brush, whether it's the number 3 or number 6. If you're doing bigger trees, um, I'd also suggest using a 1 inch or maybe even a 2 inch. But many people get intimidated by it, so that's why I try to avoid that brush. That brush paints fantastic little, well, not little, big old trees. But just like this, look, you have a big old evergreen just right up there. And I think there's one that's growing. It's There's the son of the tree. Maybe it's not a friend, but it's son that's just growing along his father. You gotta make up these stories. It might be silly or sound silly, but they actually do help. I remember hearing that and I thought that person was crazy. I was like, there's no way that helps. But it does. It puts you in like that mood of if you were there. And maybe there's just one lonely tree. But maybe that's the mother. Just the mother wanted some space out there. Just like so. She just wanted them to back up a bit. She didn't want to cook anymore. Remember, you gotta constantly be loading up your brush. Can't leave your brush without paint. How are you gonna paint without paint? Okay? Cadmium yellow, maybe even a little phthalo blue, just to make a big old green color. And just tap it. Following that same pattern you painted that tree in. It's like repainting it, just with a different color. If you have multiple trees in the same spot, it will blend in. So you gotta be careful, but you could also pull it off. So just keep that in mind. Just by tapping, you get the illusion of a couple little highlights that are here and there. There we go. Maybe a little bit of blue just to make it more greener. The mother's a bit more greener than she is yellow. Okay? Well, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me today. I know today was a longer painting video, but it was still a great one, and I had fun painting along you guys. Now, I'm gonna show you guys how to put in a couple little birds by just getting your script liner and doing some V shape. That's it, you have some birds. But I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining me, and I'd like to thank everyone who subscribed to me. I thank you for your support. And until next time, I'd like to wish each and every one of you the best of luck with this painting. And I hope to see you guys try this painting out. Until then, take care, my friend.